Welcome to Business Banking and Beyond. Today I had the pleasure to host an extraordinary entrepreneur, Mr. Vasanth from APLICA Technologies here in the UAE. So let's understand from Vasanth, a visionary leader of his company APLICA, that how he understands the market so well, how he understood the customer centric approach, and he built his company from ground up till date, and what challenges he faced as an entrepreneur and built his company. And today as we speak, he's completing 10 years. Applica is completing a 10 years of journey in the market, which is a remarkable day for any entrepreneur or founder. And as a business owner and entrepreneur, I learned something from him as well, that how he holds his employees' growth also and takes it so responsibility that his employees are sticking with him for more than 4, 5, 6 years even, and that's leading to an exponential growth for Applica and the company and the employees. I'm really glad and feeling immense pleasure today to have someone with me who has completed a decade in business. For an entrepreneur, we say that first 3 years is always the stepping stone in which we can fail, we can grow, but really growing the company for 10 years and then celebrating it is what an entrepreneur is always looking for. All the hard works which we do during that phase in terms of everything to scale our business is after 10 years what we are celebrating. So I have someone today who has crossed that mark, and I am feeling that pleasure always, that heat today, that I am sitting with someone to learn more and how that 10 years passed. And today Applica is completing 10 years with his visionary founder with us, Mr. Vasanth. First of all, thank you so much, Vasanth, for taking out time and coming here to discuss your journey.
Thank you very much, Hemant. Very good morning to you. I'm very proud. It's an incredible journey. Before we even start speaking about the journey, I'm so happy this is happening on a Thursday. I'm a strong believer of Thursday, A lot of good things have happened to me on Thursdays. Coincidentally, we are sitting on a Thursday. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks to you for generating hundreds of employment and giving great customer service for so many customers which you must have catered during your journey of 10 years. So first of all, I would really like to start with your journey, that what is your background? How did you enter into this space of Applica Technologies ERP systems?
Okay. Yeah. Well, speaking about my background, I come with a finance background. Okay. I've been in the manufacturing finance for about a decade, and that's when I started understanding how an industry works actually. To be honest, from the day when Hemant I started working, I always had this ownership, responsibility, and more importantly, accountability. We learn a lot during the journey, right? When we start our career in employment, we do a lot of mistakes. We learn out of it. But I was always accountable. I've never tried to run away from the problems or situations. That made me more stronger during the course of the journey. And after spending about a decade and so, um, I switched my career from finance into IT consultant. That means ERP consultant. It so happened that, luckily or fortunately, I can say, I was an end user of Dynamics ERP during my employment period. So that gave me an opportunity to understand how ERPs are helping the organizations, and I was the single point of contact from the end user side. So that gives an opportunity not only to perform my role using the software system, but to see how all other interdepartments are connected. Okay. So in the year 2005, I guess, it's about 19 years hence, I made up my mind to get into an IT industry, became an IT consultant, starting with finance domain consulting. And, that's how it started in the ERP side of it.
Okay. So you were an end user.
End user of ERP.
I think that's what everybody's call is. I was a banker and I started with banking consulting because I saw a gap. I saw a real problem which could have been solved. So we started as banking as well. So for you, it was you were in manufacturing finance and you were an end user for Microsoft Dynamics. You saw what great product it is and how it can solve the problems for others as well.
Very.
So this was your first calling.
That was my first calling to jump from finance into an IT industry.
Okay. And what is your background in terms of education? How did you land up in UAE?
I'm a commerce graduate, a chartered and a cost accountant. Okay. So that was the reason for me to be in manufacturing finance. When we are in finance, we just not learn the finance. We also understand the surrounding functions around it. For example, supply chain, how does the sales work, how does the warehousing works in a manufacturing organization and so on. And luckily, I was a part of a couple of ERP implementations, so I could see how ERPs are helping the organizations. That's how I made a change.
Coming from a cost accountant background,
Very true.
you moved into manufacturing finance, or I would say finance. You are using Microsoft Dynamics as your product, which became your calling to start APLICA.
No, not really. Which became a calling to jump into an IT industry. And then I spent about a decade in IT industry implementing ERPs. Okay.
With a company or with APLICA?
With an organization, with my employment days. Okay. I have worked for companies like, Emphasis, which is HP today. Consona Corporation, a US-based ERP organization. McAfee as a global program manager. So this is my brief on my employment history, okay, where I had an opportunity being a certified project manager also to get into enterprise applications. When we say enterprise applications, ERP, CRM are the ones implementing across. And my last employment, okay, if we look at our LinkedIn or my employment history, my last employment where I was heading the operations, it's an interesting story. I actually went to an interview to attend a delivery manager role, okay? And during the conversation, the only question I asked my interviewer was, can I do something more than what is written in the job description? I think that got his attention. He called us another peer person and said, Vasanth, can you repeat that? I said, why? So far, we haven't heard this from anyone in the market. Always people have questions on the job description, but here you're saying, can you do something more than the JD? Look, you may be doing a delivery manager role comfortably, but we are looking for a leadership position. Can you take up this role? That was the turning point of my life, So
I will add something into it. As a founder, I am also taking a lot of interviews, taking decisions, this and that. But always, as you mentioned, it's always about job description. So rather than even just focusing on job description, people will negotiate on the compensation as well. But we never negotiate on the basis of what exactly you will be delivering. And you asking in an interview that can I do more than my job description, any founder will be flattered on that question, because taking responsibilities, asking for responsibilities is not an easy task.
Right. I'm not saying I'm the only one. If you look at the entrepreneurial journey of many people, I think a lot of people will have this traits, Can I contribute in other ways to the organization where I'm working for? So that's the difference in me. Be it an employment or today I'm an employer, there was no difference for me at all. Even being an employee, I always delivered my duties with highest accountability, responsibility, and ownership.
Great. So I think a great insight for any entrepreneur or an inspiring entrepreneur from this conversation, what I got is that I've seen this before also coming out from many founders, that when you are in employment, if you are someone who's taking ownership, responsibility, problem solving, rather than just focusing on your JD,
yes,
you can be a good entrepreneur in your type.
Absolutely. If we are confining our roles in employment to the job description, we might get good increments. We'll be taken care financially. We might get promotions, good appraisals. All that is part of the journey. But if you want to be standing out from the crowd, you need to do something extra. That extra mile is what makes you a differentiator in the crowd, right? Now, coming to my entrepreneurial journey, I was just speaking about my last employment before starting APLICA, which gave me a tremendous exposure. I was the head of operations. Title could be different. It was director of operations, but that's the place where I got a great opportunity to, run the show for about 200 plus employees. So we put our hands into operations, employee engagement, HR policies, customer contracts, even let's say housekeeping or, the security not come today, right from, end to end.
Okay.
End to end. That's an opportunity which actually I think my bosses were good enough to give me that opportunity where I was able to realize, yes, I am doing a role which I haven't done for the last several years. And this is the point where this is how an organization runs. A great platform for about 1 year. Unfortunately, due to organization restructuring, I had to take a decision to move out from that place and see what needs to be done. I had good 3 months of time in my hand to see whether I need to look for another employment or do something on my own. I think after 15, 16 years of employment, I think I strongly made up my mind, let's start doing something on my own.
Well, I think you made the right thing.
I no regrets at all, Hemant. Absolutely no regrets. Of course, the journey has been very challenging. We learnt a lot, but never a moment in last 10 years I thought I should have stuck to employment.
Well, that's what is the true spirit of being entrepreneur. Now coming on to the most important question.
Sure.
When 15 years of experience in terms of ERP as well, using the product yourself, how did the learnings of an ERP made you a strong advocate to start the ERP company to help customers, help companies implement ERP, and it became a vision for Applica that we want to stick to this ERP market?
Well, I can say that's very obvious because when we work in an industry as finance, first I will speak about finance. When you work in a finance department, you have all the information coming into finance because we all know organizations do exist to generate profits unless it is a charitable or an NGO organization, right? I was in manufacturing organization. The main motto was to deliver services to the society and make profits. So we get all the information, we get a knowledge about how every department functions, or rather how it should function effectively to generate numbers to the organization. And top of it, when you have a sophisticated enterprise application like Oracle or SAP or Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics getting implemented, that's a added advantage to an end user. We get to know how systems are complementing to the core operations of the organization.
I want to get into
Sure, please.
detail in this. So if there is any use case which you can discuss that how software ERP is able to help day to day all the ground operations for a sophisticated organization.
Well, see, you have several software systems in the market. There are software systems which allows you to play around with the data, like let's say not offending to any of the owners. If the owners would like to manipulate the data, there are certain systems which allows you to do it. But ERP is one such thing which always prevents you to manipulate the data. That's because when you make an accounting entry, you post it, ERP will not allow you to make any modifications to that. You will have to reverse the entry and make additional entry. Give a right example. Let's take Tally. Okay, I make an entry today, I post it. Down the line, 3 months also, I can go back to the posted entry, edit and correct my financials. Right?
Yes.
Simply. But ERPs will not allow you to do that. Why? Because, whatever mistake you do, ERP says reverse it and do a correction later. There is an audit log maintained in the ERP systems. Which user at what point in time changed anything in the system? This gives a complete visibility to the investors. So the investors' interest is protected. That's the first motto of any ERP implementations.
Okay.
See, for example, you run a business, Hemant. You're not everywhere in your business. But you need a system which gives you an accurate information and you have to feel I'm in control of my business.
Got it.
And we all grow, right? When it is small, you have control. We are all human beings, Memory power is also limited, beyond which you need some supporting system. This is where the software system...
Not just some, I would say great supporting system.
And ERPs play a role. First thing what ERP does is protect the interest of the investors. That's largely needed. Today, any economy, you have foreign direct investment coming in, right? So how do you give that assurity and confidence to the investors that you are in safe hands? One of the things is you put in a great and a proven ERP system which gives them a visibility. The information is available in their mobile phones. Today we're all talking about artificial intelligence, real data and so on, right?
Okay. So the first thing is about giving the investors trust, or I would say more openness, transparency, and audit everything. When it comes to use cases of on-ground operations in terms of efficiency,
Okay.
how does ERP play?
Obviously, when we look at especially manufacturing industry, where the investment on inventories, when I say inventories, in a normal language, it's stock. The amount of investment you do on stock is very important because you're blocking your money there, right? These ERP systems give you information how much you need to stock to produce certain quantity of products based on the sales projections. Not simple softwares can give you this information. With that, what happens? You're able to manage your cash flow, right? And also, there is no duplication of third point. I'm coming to the third point. There is no duplication of entries in ERP systems. For example, let's say Dangad is doing business. Mr. X is a client to you. You have several departments to ensure that X's information needs to be captured. You capture at one place, it is available to all your users. That means you don't have to create the same master data in multiple places. Look at what used to happen 40 years before when ERP systems were not there. If the finance department wanted an information, he or she used to go around different departments, collect the information, compile it, give it to the senior management. So it always had the question of accuracy, real time, all that is addressed in ERP.
Go on.
So ERP gives you accurate, real time information. That's because all the users in the organization are expected to key in the data real time, so that even if the top management wants to look at what is their financial position, or let's say what is their sales projection, or how much of money is blocked in inventories, it is available real time.
Okay. So we are speaking about inefficiency. One is inventory management, which helps you in better cash flow and which is the most important thing. Then
Data management,
data management, data maintenance, data management,
reporting, MIS, management.
reporting and MIS. So this is coming under efficiency as well. What are the day-to-day operations as well? So this was about efficiency in one sense. What can be more in terms of day-to-day operations which are helped through ERPs?
Well, when ERP is getting implemented, everyone is expected to capture the data then and there itself. Okay, so you're not carrying over the legacy to the next day. Okay, thereby your day-to-day operations is getting updated and it is giving you a true reflection of the business in the form of reports or dashboards.
Got it. Okay. Now moving on to a bit of APLICA and your journey as well, which is always fascinating. And I personally want to know a little bit things on that. What were the challenges which you faced during building APLICA with your company inside and with customers as well?
Right. Few minutes back, we spoke about how my entrepreneurial journey started when I had to move out of employment and decided on entrepreneurship. If you ask me, I did my homework for about 2-3 months, 10 years before, by speaking to Microsoft. Few people who had continued in ERP field understood what is the market potential and just took a chance for about 6 months. Just wanted to see what happens. Let's see in 6 months. I think 6 months dragged me to 10 years today. Okay. Every entrepreneur faces the challenge. We all know about it. Cash flow, sales, revenue. I'm not here to talk about that. I will speak specifically what happened with my journey in APLICA. very frankly speaking, we did a lot of mistakes in hiring the right talent. Because in ERP business, we need to have the right uh, skill sets in the resource to deliver the service. The person needs to have domain knowledge plus the product. A lot of people have this, misconception that, ERP can be delivered if I understand the product. That's not is all about. Domain is very important. If you look at even my previous background, employment background, why did I get into IT industry, then started the journey of Applica, is because I had that strong finance, supply chain and manufacturing domain background in me. Okay. This, I think, was the mistake when we started hiring people. It's like this. I built a new house. I want to fill the house with all the furnitures. When the guests come in, I want them to say, wow, you're also an entrepreneur. You build new offices, right? That's one of your line of business, Hemant. So when you build an office, it is human tendency that I want to fill in all the offices as soon as possible because you have all the other pressures,
Yes.
right? I think this is what even I got into. We started Applica, we had an office in place and I wanted to fill in all the seats. So in that process, we did mistakes of hiring. I don't say wrong, it was a misfit. That eventually what happens burns your cash flow without the revenue. That is the only thing I would like to highlight. But of course, we learned a lot. Second year, we started correcting. By third year, I think we were able to understand that, this line of business requires this kind of skill set to move forward. And as there is a Chinese saying also goes, you need 1,000 days to stabilize in business. Once you cross 1,000 days of journey and you break even, and then, you understand and move forward. That's how we are on the 10th year today.
So this is what happened internally, the
Yes.
little bit of mismatching of the hiring which
Very
happened.
true. Of course, we had other challenges also, I said, but I do not want to highlight because that's the journey of every entrepreneur. So this is very specific to Applica's journey.
So true. Now coming to the customer standpoint as well, what challenges do you face or you faced in terms of customers as well? Maybe giving the right service or maybe having issues related to customer delivery. Did you see some challenges over there as well?
Not really, I can say, because I am happy and proud that I chose a right line of business. I think that goes to the homework what I did 10 years back. Dynamics 365 has a good market potential. There is always opportunities in the market. It was always a challenge of bringing in the right talent to deliver a service.
My God, I think maybe if I am not
That's a very honest statement. Even today, there are opportunities. The challenge is always with the resources management because you need to get right skill set, highest work ethics, taking ownership and accountability. This is what I am doing on daily basis with my internal team also.
That brings me to an important question for all your customer side as well. That what is the USP? What is the approach of Applica in terms of customer service?
We are always with you guys. When I say with you guys, we are always with customers. Your problem is my problem. That's because I have spent solid 10 years in a manufacturing, be it manufacturing or service. I know the pain areas. I can always fit myself into their shoes. If there is an issue, if there is an escalation, I can clearly visualize what is going on in the customer's place. And I immediately reach out to my team and say, look, get on to a call with the customer immediately, or we don't have to be told, Heyman, that please come down to our premises to fix this problem. If something can be fixed remotely, we do it immediately. Today's challenge, especially after COVID-19, a lot of organizations have refused for travel. Okay. Now with that, what has happened? IT industry has resorted to remote working, but that's not the case with Applica. I confidently, this is a message to my customers as well, that you don't have to tell me come down to my site to fix this problem. If we feel it is necessary, we will come down, fix it. So that means to say we are always with you. We understand your problem. As head of the organization, I come from a domain and this message goes down to my team also, that please understand from their perspective and then give a solution. That's the USP. USP is I don't want to call it as a personalized service here. It is in-person service.
I have seen a very different way. Normally, every organization I have seen focusing on try to reducing the cost by saying we'll solve it remotely. A lot of SaaS based softwares, I don't want to mention them, they don't want to even have an inquiry platform for them. They will say, okay, put up a question, get help from community. The last resort is that you will be able to reach out to that SaaS platform to get the service. And many of times we see SaaS platforms having partners that will cater to the answers of the customers. But here you are differently saying that I want to come and the customers are stopping.
Also, I think I forgot to mention, quick response is the USP at Applica. Because I have seen in this ERP services domain, Hemant, you just mentioned about there is an inquiry platform. When customers have an issue, they are expected to raise a ticket in a particular platform. The vendor's resource come and say, we have received a ticket. Within 48 hours, we will try to get in touch with you. And then someone else comes after 48 hours and tries to understand the issue. At Applica, I think within 4 or 6 hours, someone is there to pick up the phone or get into a Teams meeting or, have a direct conversation that what is your problem. We will not even say we acknowledge it. What is your problem? Based on the nature of the problem, we resolve it immediately. That's the USP. So to summarize, one is in-person services. We don't have to be told, come down to my site. Second is the response time. The response time is highest in Applica compared to any other competitor in the market.
I think that what's matter the most. We are in an era where customers, be it retail, B2B or anyone else, does not wants to take time and delayed response. The first thing is quick response. I would get more detail into this. When you say that this is your USP, what are 1, 2, 3 things which you do when a customer is raising an inquiry? Can you share one case and how do you tackle that as Applica?
So Hemant, what happens in Applica, whenever we get a ticket, we call it as a ticket or an inquiry from our customer. First thing I'll tell you, even though we have an inquiry platform, but we don't confine our customers to go and raise the ticket there itself. Because sometimes if it is a burning issue, you will not have the time to go and raise a ticket and then get in touch with us. Okay. So what we have done is that we have opened multiple channels in our services, in the sense the customer has an email option. There is an inquiry portal. There are specific WhatsApp groups for every customer. In the sense, when we get engaged with a customer, first thing what we do is we open a WhatsApp groups, add all the stakeholders, and I am there in every WhatsApp group to make sure that someone is attending to the query. So we're not actually troubling the customer by saying follow this channel only. I know that's the professional way of handling, but how do you differentiate yourself when you are growing in businesses? Give him some flexibility to the customer where he is able to reach out to us quickly. Okay. We also create groups in Teams, Microsoft Teams. So when there is a priority one issue or a problem, the customer can directly call the consultant. We call them as consultants, though they are employees. In ERP business, we call them as consultants. So you have WhatsApp, you have Teams, you have emails, you have an inquiry portal where the customer has an opportunity to talk to you. I can say sometimes even within a minute or two also, if my person is online. This is the first thing. You ask me a question, give me a use case where you handle a problem. So it comes to us directly to the consultant, because there are spokes for every customer. The customer knows where he exactly needs to go in Applica. Okay. If it doesn't get resolved, then it goes to the next level, project manager, then the engagement manager, and me. Having started this business and grown for 10 years, every customer knows me by name, number, everything. They know to reach me as well. I'm accessible to all the customers.
I think that is what it matters when it comes to customer. If I'm a customer, I don't like portals, numbers and emails only. I really want to see whom I can talk to every time. And when it comes to WhatsApp groups or anything which is in person, that's what customer, he can just call, let's say Ramya. anyone in the team, he knows that he'll get an answer. At least a direct touch should be there rather than just having your tickets placed all across the organization and then every time there is someone else responding to your inquiries.
This is what I said few minutes back. In-person service is the USP.
Got it. Now, as you mentioned that you are mostly available on all the WhatsApp groups, that means you have personal involvement in all the services, all the projects.
Yes.
How do you make sure that you're available for all the projects? And that I think is also one of the USPs for Applica.
I'll give you a real-time example. Okay. If you check my phone, even now, okay, I think I have missed about 7 or 8 messages in the last 30 minutes. That's because my phone is on silent. So I ensure that every team member in my team has not read the message for more than 15 or 20 minutes. Okay. I know WhatsApp could be personal because in a lot of places, especially people from India, we do not use separate SIM cards for personal and business, even though we take care of their phone bills or whatever it is. But still, I ensure, look, you are in a business where your response is the key in delivering service. So ensure that every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you look at your WhatsApp. I do it personally. Okay. As I said, it's just 30 minutes. We are conversing. The phone is on mute, and that's why I'm not able to see. Otherwise, more than 10 minutes, I will not have any unread messages in my WhatsApp. I try my best. This attribute is there in every consulting member of my company.
My God. So you have taken communication through WhatsApp,
WhatsApp, emails, everything. And we also insist that when an employee onboards with us, that your email must be configured on your mobile as well. I do not want any of my team member to say, I didn't check my mail, it's not configured, I didn't check my WhatsApp. I can't believe if someone is not checking their WhatsApp. I think if you take a percentage, just 1 or 2% in the world who are away from these mobile phones and so on. You cannot avoid it. So let's take advantage. Let's leverage the technology into our services.
So true. And that's the most easiest communication tool as well. Now moving on to a very niche thing. Why do you believe that ERP systems are the most important thing in today's competitive world? I want to stress on the competitiveness thing. As you mentioned about quick response, that part of a service, managing your inventory in a better level, managing your cash flow. How do you make sure in competitive world, the ERP systems are the only savior for the business?
Okay, with my experience, Hemant, I can say when we say competitive world, lot of times it comes to delivering a quality with an appropriate costing method. Cost is a driving factor in competitive world. We all talk about quality, service, right pricing. These are the things which we generally speak when it comes to competitiveness, right? How ERP helps is basically first thing, ERP, as I said before, which aims to capture all the business or information in one single platform, processes the data and gives the real output in the form of dashboards for management decision making. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, again, cost. Today's world of business, you cannot increase your selling price so easily, how much ever good you are in your business, because there is a comparison. There are equal competitors in the market. All that one needs to do as an owner is to manage your cost. Selling price, the difference between selling price and cost price is your margins. You cannot increase the selling price, so that's constant. So you can play around only with your costing, right? So you need to manage your cost. ERP helps here. One of the things I mentioned before also, that inventory management. Okay, inventory management is one of the inventories are actually contributing to, if I have to put it across, average 40% of any manufacturing sector's cash is blocked in inventories. So if you manage your inventories very well using a sophisticated ERP, that itself is helping you to manage your cost. We know the techniques like just in time, Japan's technique. No? You need to procure the inventory, how much, when you want to actually produce, how much you need to store exactly. That kind of information is given by ERP systems today. A lot of ERPs today are available with artificial intelligence also. Okay. um, you know, uh, I have seen and understood today, if you walk into a hospital, a lot of hospitals have sophisticated software systems which tells you what is the trend of the patients, whether this patient is going to be a repetitive, customer for you or not. It gives a trend, using artificial intelligence. So these ERP robot systems are actually helping you to manage your cost, at the same times is giving you a very dynamic sales projection as well.
So if I have to put in a layman language,
Yeah.
I would say an ERP in a competitive world gives you an edge, a true
true.
edge, where even in you are a sophisticated, complex business, but still you are able to reach that unit level of your costing and improve it, make it better, reduce your cost and increase your margins.
So
Increase your cash flow.
your information is accurate. You're getting real-time information. Thereby, you're able to take decisions. You walk into supermarkets. How are they actually filling the right products? How do they know which is getting faster, which variant, which color, which brand? All this is coming through sophisticated ERP systems. We're going to carry for huge retail market, right? So how are they managing? Let's take Lulu. So you have very sophisticated ERPs, which is giving you a real-time information,
Good.
Yeah.
Now this is
So this is how ERPs really help businesses to manage cost and, thereby, help you to avoid the idle time in your organization, reduce the scrap, right? Waste. All this are contributing somewhere to your margins of business. Of course, if you're able to manage that very well, I am sure we can be best competitive in the market, because as we spoke already, you cannot increase selling price just like that. You can increase the price of a coffee, but not in a B2B selling, right?
I would say not even a coffee. See, just because you are inefficient, you should not put cost over your consumer. Yes, that's what governments are somewhere doing in some of the countries where the corruption is so high and you're just continuously increasing the taxes. Ultimately, the customers or the citizen would fly away. So I think you better manage your business properly and with an ERP, manage cost better. Now, this is well understood, Vasan, that ERP remains the most important backbone and the pillar for a business. But then question comes to my mind is there are so many implementers of ERPs, big companies. Why someone should come to Applica or a company like Applica to implement its ERP through you?
That's a great question, Hemant, and I'm happy you asked that. And as an aspiring and a growing organization, I would like to answer this. Market should know how ERP has evolved. Which segment of ERP implementers actually delivered service in the market? That's the first thing, okay? There are large companies, as you rightly said. But customers or the market should know what is their focus. That means the vendor's focus, the implementer's focus. Is ERP the core business of that vendor? Or is it an ancillary business? Or whether that vendor has picked up ERP line just because one of their customer wanted them to pick it up and deliver? Is it their bread and butter? Right? If you see large companies, so-called CMMI level 5 and so on, and we all come from India, all the service-based organizations are emerging out of India. India, even today, is more, I believe, is into service delivery, not into innovation and product development. You have all this innovation and product development organizations based either out of Europe or Americas. It may be an Indian entrepreneur only, but they would like to go and start the business there. India is predominantly a service delivery economy, right? So my point here is, when you choose an implementer, ERP implementer, the market should look at whether it is core business of the implementer or not. Yeah. With all due respect, see, even I have worked with very large consulting companies like KPMG, PwC, EY, and so on. They were, even today, okay, they're too good when it comes to due diligence, auditing, consulting services, and so on. But ERP, is it their core line of business? Not truly. Or let's take Infosys or Wipro or any other large organizations, okay? Is it their core business? No. If you look at the history, the ERP has been always with growing and medium-sized IT companies, okay? Where organizations like APLICA, it is our bread and butter. We do anything and everything to ensure the service delivery is 100% completed. Even if there is a problem, a major goof up or anything, we go sit across the table, we try to fix, because you know what, this matters a lot for our growth. Okay? Lot of business in last 10 years has come to us repeat business or through referrals. I don't have a single sales personnel in my organizations even today, Hemant. So-called we come across people like, Bhuvana, Ramya. They're all solution consultants, in the sense they help the customers to understand what is your requirement. Okay, this solution may help your needs, and then bring in the technical to do the demonstration. It's not a typical selling what we do. So we have done business without having a sales department, without having a sales manager in business. So how did this happen? It's only because of the good work what we have delivered and the focus. I remember a few instances where there's been a major goof up, either in terms of delivery, or let's say the resource disappeared due to some personal emergency and so on. I have always sat across the table, borrowed some time, ensured it is complete without looking at cost or margins there. I think that's what made a difference. So, to answer your question, I would request market and companies to look at what is the focus of the implementer. Is the implementer into everything? Is he defocused, or is it only the ERP? Okay, there are some ERP companies who deal SAP, Oracle, and Dynamics. So be it, not a problem. But is ERP one of the line of business? Then I think there is a question mark. Okay, what is the contribution of ERP to your overall business model? So these are some of the things, if the market looks at, even if the customer who wants to implement ERP, if he looks at the vendor company or the partner company and make few observations and select. I'm not saying come to APLICA only, but if you come to companies like APLICA, we will give our 100%, not just for money. Money is a byproduct of business, right? We deliver to your satisfaction, even if there are issues. There is a flexibility. We operate with flexibility. Otherwise, we will not be able to grow. Flexibility can come in terms of, let's say the human resources allocation, deployment, on-site offshore model, or let's say the costing model, or let's say the after-sales support. After day, we call it as post go-live support. Now, how much are we giving? Are we giving in-person services? So these are the factors which make us a differentiator compared to a larger company. I have noticed, especially Hemant, especially after COVID-19, almost all the large companies, even today, I am noticing in the market, they refuse to deploy a resource dedicated to a customer. They don't dedicate a resource. Always a resource is shared. They will not encourage any resource going to the customer place, having face-to-face conversation and resolving an issue. At APLICA, we don't do that. As I said, we don't have to be told. We do it ourselves. We don't look at what is the engagement model we have. Always we look at, there is an issue, are we resolving it remotely or in person? Doesn't matter to me.
Well, I always have some or the other rebuttal or an argument. But this time I'm amazed to see the commitment which you have brought on the table for comparing it with any large implementer. I see a conviction. So if you go to a large implementer, you are one of their customers, one of many customers, and it's not their core business. But when it comes to APLICA, it is not one of many. You are the one for them. And the service delivery is the most important thing for APLICA. Now, if I have to compare the cost also,
Okay.
maybe you are costlier because you are delivering that level of service and everything. Is that true?
Not true at all. Okay. Um, we all know a lot of things in the market are market driven. The prices are determined by the market forces. In Applica, it is never driven by the market forces. I bet, I take a challenge also, it is always cost plus margin. Okay, let's say I have customers in India, Middle East, and we have done some business in the US region also. Honestly speaking, Hemant, we have never differentiated between the customers according to the regions. Okay, we always felt, okay, to deliver this service in this region, what is going to be my cost? Add margin on that and then deliver the service. Even today, I bet, I challenge, the costing model at Applica is highly competitive in the Middle East region. Okay. In India, I'm very confident about. Even here, I'm confident. Why is so? Because my pricing is not market driven here. I can still say my pricing is about 40% lesser than the market prices. It works. Yes, it works for me because my overheads are managed by ourselves, right? I'm always looking at delivering the service, and of course, as a owner of the business, I would not like to incur losses unless otherwise it is a very extreme situation and one of the situation. In general, we are looking at, are we able to survive and move forward? That's how I'm very confident in saying that not just by service delivery and quality and timelines and in-person services, even when it comes to the costing model, I differ with you saying that, are we expensive? Not at all. We are still, I don't want to use cheaper. We are highly competitive. My pricing is at least 35 to 40% lesser than the market prices here.
Well, that is,
Even though there is no compromise on the service delivery.
and that is no point of also doing it, because that is what will lose the customer as well. So yes, I would definitely be agreeing with you that yes, most of the companies will put their pricing region wise
Yes.
and market forces, but actual pricing should be cost plus margin, and that's how you should be done.
That's how we will be competitive as well, right, him?
Now moving on, Vasan, the most important thing. As a business, as Dangard or any other business, how do I assess 1, 2, 3 points through which I should come on to a point that I should take the ERP now? This is the time, and this is what I will get the help.
Oh, great. As long as you have the visibility of your business, what is your vision of your business? If it is long term, go for a sophisticated software application. Okay. I'm not saying go for an ERP. Okay. It purely depends on the line of business. Okay. Today, if you ask me, Vasanth, which is your target industry? Every industry is using ERP. I think we spoke about this a few minutes back. As long as the investors wants to have transparency, wants to have the have detail on the operations, want to have a financial discipline, if they want to grow, if they want to expand, if they want to invest in attract investors, your books of accounts has to be highly transparent and it has to be open for due diligence from any of the big fours, right? So it all depends on owner's vision for future. If you're visionary, if you want to take your business in a large scale, get an ERP system in place so that you have control of the operations and financial discipline from the day one. You want to be compliant with your government regulations, please have a good ERP system in your place. As I said, ERP will not allow you to manipulate the data.
Well, so it's very clear and transparently put forward that if you as a founder has the vision to grow your company and scale up today or tomorrow, you have to go for an ERP. And if you start planning for that from day one, that makes you a different company altogether from day one. And I think I was reading a big founder's quote. I don't remember exactly the founder's name, but he said, from day one, I had thought that I want to grow the company for next 20 years. This is my vision. So from day one, I started feeling that I'm like that company. And what would that company do? I did that things. So that is what is all about it. Now I want to cozy up a bit and I want to know what are the plans for Applica after completing 10 years? What is the plan for next few years? How are you celebrating your decade for resilience, envisioning a future of excellence?
Well, that's a true story by itself in Applica. It is not just a quote or a theme. We have had a lot of perseverance, resilience. We learned a lot. We understood a lot about the market. What is the expectation? Okay, every day is a learning. Now, after having learned for 10 years, we would like to transform ourselves and move into excellence. So that doesn't mean that there's no learning further. Of course, we're going to learn, but we would like to move towards excellence now. We have a solid team, okay, in place. I'm very proud to say, firstly, I'm very proud to say that the entire team is, happy about completing 10 years at Applica. There are a lot of resources. When I say resources, the employees, team members with us, let's say more than 60% of them out of 60 employees have crossed 5 years with us. That's one of the another USP with Applica. If you speak to the market in Middle East also, some of the customers or my partner competitors are still surprised to know, Vasanth, are those people still with you? Yes, they're still with me. Is it money or is it some employee benefits? Not really. I have personally made an attempt to make sure they're learning a lot, they have good exposure, and their financial interests are taken care. Okay, because today any talent in the market gets attracted by a lot of companies, right? So you cannot buy a person or you cannot hold on to a person just with money, right? There are certain other things. Okay, so we are all very proud. What we would like to commit to the market is we'll continue to deliver our services. I would like to build a strong team based out of Dubai. We do have few members, but I would like to increase that because I am seeing good potential in the Middle East region. Okay. And I would like to expand my services to Africa as well. We would like to explore that market. So that being the case, we would like to expand in this region, add more. Probably I would be looking for a bigger office and so on, right? And I have started spending more time in the Middle East region for last 6 months and so on. I'll continue to do it. I have good hands in Applica India to manage the operations because I have people who have spent more than 8-9 years also. There are a couple of people who have the highest integrity, loyalty and involvement, belongingness to the company. So that makes me to focus on what we want to be in future.
Well, kudos to you and your team, and especially to those committed. Oh yes, employees. I want to take this. Thanks to all those of Applica who are there since more than 5 years, 8 years, and 9 years as well. Few people. It takes a lot of integrity to be there for the customers, for the company, and for themselves as well. So this is my thanks to them as well on behalf of you, maybe.
Of course. I'm always thankful to them. Of course, we do have, firefighting sessions, arguments, discussions on daily basis. But at the end of the day, to my conscience, I strongly believe, that a leader is as good as the team. An organization cannot deliver without having a strong team in place. And I'm, as I said, I'm really proud to have such people who are with me for a long time, had that same patience what I had in the last 10 years, and they're committed. They will continue the journey with us and so on. Yeah. So this Jan 18th, we are looking at, celebrating this 10 years in the form of an event where we would like to, recognize those old the extra mile, people who have taken extra mile, those spaces. We have annual awards concept. We want to recognize special talents, and we've also trying to invite few people as guest invitees who have directly or indirectly supported us, contributed in our line of business. We would like to thank them personally also. Thankfully, most of them have accepted. Few are customers and few are professionally connected to us and so on. And celebrate this evening.
Everybody will be there who has been
Part of this journey.
Yes, part of this journey. So looking forward for this. And now it's time for me to summary up the podcast. Whatever we discussed there, the learnings which will going to come out for all the businesses who can benefit from this. So we started with your journey, Vasanth, which is that you are really educated in the same field, which is still helping you to run the business.
True.
Then moving on to your first job into finance, manufacturing finance, which is also helping you in your ERP. Then with your 10 to 15 years of IT experience, you understood everything about how ERP works.
I wouldn't say everything. I understood largely. Yeah,
And then you started your own company, which is APLICA. And then the first challenge, about the pain points as well. You understood what are the pain points in the ERP systems, and that also encouraged you to start an ERP based company only. Then you started APLICA. That's where your first entrepreneurial journey started.
You didn't ask me what's the meaning of APLICA. That's very important.
Yeah, what's the meaning of APLICA?
APLICA, is actually derived from a Romanian language.
Okay.
Which means implement.
Okay.
Okay.
So the core focus also
was on implementation.
On the implementation.
Right. Because when we started finding the names of the organization in APLICA, we had to register with the register of companies in India. And most of the names were duplicating. Then we resorted to the foreign language. We wanted to bring in, which actually is very apt to our line of business. And we got this name.
But implement. Vision is very clear.
Implement.
Then starting APLICA, the first challenge which you faced was mismatch of talent which you hired. A lot of businesses start big, or maybe they take big offices, big setup, then hire anybody and everybody. Happened a bit with you, but you corrected it in first 2 to 3 years of the company. Once you find it the right skill set which you matched, and that's where the exponential growth after 3 years of APLICA started. But till date, your growth potential remains only and only ERP. Your APLICA as a company's core focus on the ERP implementation.
Dynamics 365 ERP. That too, we are very particular about Dynamics ERP.
Even
Microsoft Dynamics.
The product is fixed. So a niche is very clear.
Yes.
I have seen your website. It clearly says no distraction, no divert. Only ERP, that too Microsoft Dynamics. Then we discussed about what is the importance of ERP systems in today's competitive world. So we discuss about investors' trust. We see a lot of times we want to raise funds, we want to scale the company, but are our base systems clear? Are we envisioning that our company should be this? Then we need to do these things to do this. And the backbone is the ERP systems. And then we discuss about how ERP helps you in your operations, in your data management, and everything to envision that what you're trying to do. So in that one, we discuss how you can create efficiency by better managing your inventory systems, how you can manage your day-to-day operations with better data management. And then we discuss about day-to-day operations being directly shown to you in real time on the ERP dashboards, which give you clear indication of better decision making. Then we moved on to discussing about why large implementers are not in the core business of ERP. Yes, they might be good at a lot of things, which is their core, but going to an implementer like APLICA can give you a much better delivery, a tailored service, and in-person service.
Yes.
That's where we discuss about the APLICA's USP as
Very
well,
true.
which is very different, I've heard in the market, which is focusing on the in-person service because the product demands it. So you always encourage your people to get in person, to reply people going out of the official channel, but making sure that you are responding quickly. So in person and quick response with unofficial and quick communication channels is the USP for APLICA.
Also, we spoke about the costing method or cost plus margin is one of the things, which makes us different.
Yes. So in ERP systems or any product, I would say most of the people are comparing the cost by market, but you are focusing cost plus margin and improving the cost. So you're always competitive. Cost is there in the market and you're 40% less by that when you're delivering your service, comparing it to any other competitor in the market. Then we moved on to why we should implement ERP at the first place. How businesses can assess are they ready for an ERP implementing. So the the answer is clear. If you want to scale, if you want to become a bigger company going forward in next 3, 5, 10 years, then you have to start building your fundamentals from today. Start implementing those systems, maybe a small ERP, maybe a sophisticated, that depends on the scale of your business, but you have to start it to create that level of company in next 3 to 5 years. Then we discuss the most important thing, which is how are you going to celebrate 10 years? And in that one, we are putting a lot of eggs into the aspect that the employees, which is not so common, who have given the hard sweat blood to the company from past 5 to 6 years, most commonly speaking, we are going to give a lot of credits, efforts, and recognition to them on this event, which is going to happen on 10 years anniversary of APLICA.
Yes. So true. You summarized it so very well. We can speak hours together on this journey, but these are some of the things which has helped us to complete 10 years, and we look forward. Again, I would like to thank each and every team member of my organization who has helped, supported, and to be us in this situation. I'm sure they'll continue the journey with us also. I have that confidence in them because, see, if you look at IT industry, anything more than 2 years is a bonus. That's how every employer looks at it. So I should be more privileged here. I have many people who have crossed 5 years. There are few members who have crossed even 8 years with me. That's where the trust comes in, right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time as well. Thanks to, again, I'm stressing on the point, thanks to each and everyone who were with me in this journey, my family members especially, because it takes a lot to, jump from employment to entrepreneurship, especially when you got used to that monthly income, seeing your monthly salary for 15 years and suddenly shift to a mode which is so uncertain, right? So I'm very thankful to my family as well. He also supported me for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vasanth.
And my message, final, I have one more message also. I think you asked me somewhere in between for budding entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say don't have dual mind. Stick on to, if you make a decision, stick on to it. I have seen a few people, being in employment, trying to do a side business, that will not take them in the long run, Be very firm. Nothing happens. Everyone has a share in the pie, right? In the market. Market is full of opportunities. There are bigger players. There are small ones and, who can grow to the next level as well. Be firm. Stick to it. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, Vasanth, for coming here and sharing so much of wealth of information.
My pleasure. It's been a wonderful conversation. We actually took us back to the last 10 years and flashback. And we are really excited for Jan 18th event. I'm expecting each and every member to be there.